Yo, what's good, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another reaction video. We got the Dallas Cowboys are moving on from Dak Prescott. Nigga, what? Their franchise QB. I know Dak's contract's coming out, I think next year or something like that. But let's check this out.
Of the Cowboys being the one team that have not gone all in.
It's my first time hearing about this.
All in and mine might not be the same thing.
And they literally are the only team to have basically done nothing so far.
I have been getting asked this question so many times recently.
Mike, where is the Dallas Cowboys content? Your Dallas Cowboys haven't done anything.
I was waiting to cover the teams that actually did something during the offseason before covering my favorite team that didn't really do much this offseason, except sign Eric Kendricks, which was a solid move. Now, I think this all means one particular thing. It has a lot to do with Dak Prescott and his future with the Dallas Cowboys. So before we get to the content, make sure you drop, like, subscribe, and turn on our notifications to help the channel grow. Now that we get all that out of the way,
Break.
the season was very similar to every other season the Cowboys have had over the past decade when they were even close to contention. We played remarkably in the regular season and then the bed in the playoffs. Something that I've grown very
Typical Dallas Cowboys
as a
cycle,
Cowboy
man.
fan. And once the season concluded, Cowboy fans were all scattering to say various different things. Some people said,
Like, you know it's bad when your own fans are starting to shit on you now. Like, it's
Prescott
crazy.
He stinks.
Other people said,
I want Mike McCarthy gone. He stinks.
then there were some people that
But how about both should be gone? How about that? Trade both of them.
It's been very tough year after year getting your hopes up for a great season, especially this past season, which was
They gotta pay CeeDee Lamb, Michael Parsons, like Brandon Cooks too. Zach Martin's contract's coming up.
To ever lose to a 7th seed in the playoffs, we would have had home field advantage throughout all of the playoffs, and it was the first home game we ever lost this year. And at a specific point, you wonder,
Yeah, they got stomped out by the Packers. I was not expecting that. What the hell just flew my eye?
They signed Eric Kendricks. Leighton Vander Esch's career was officially ended due to a dirty hit by Trent Williams, and he officially retired.
Wait,
Tyler
what?
Biadasz officially ended due to a dirty hit by Trent Williams, and he officially
Oh, gosh.
retired. Tyler Biadasz was poached by the Washington Commanders.
Wow, he went to the
Armstrong
ops
was poached by the Washington Commanders.
Wow, why is everybody going to the ops this year?
Of the Washington Commanders. Cowboys cut Michael Gallup. but
Yo.
Michael Gallup is one of the worst wide receivers in the NFL. They lost Tony Pollard, but I was okay with that because Tony Pollard really wasn't the same since the 2023 playoff matchup when he got injured versus the San Francisco 49ers. And they lost Tyron Smith to the New York Jets, which is definitely a tough blow considering the fact that when healthy, Tyron Smith is one of the best left tackles in the NFL, but that's the problem. He had trouble staying healthy. And when you consider the Dallas
You can say that for like
Cowboys,
most of the like
really a
big name
shock
players that are
what's
old in the
happening. But
NFL
some
now,
Cowboy fans are shocked
like
that
OBJ
they
and
because Jerry Jones
Michael
said
Thomas.
Okay, your definition of what is all in and mine might not be the same thing, but I'm trying to win the games this year with my decision.
Now, this one clip went viral, and I found it very funny that this one clip went viral because his son, Steven, also said this.
I've never known Jerry not to be all in any given year, but certainly, we've got I think, a great team put together. I think, the last 3 years, won a lot of football games. I think 36.
Yeah, but you haven't won enough in the playoffs, though, buddy.
Certainly, where we have to improve is the postseason. We're going to get the right kind of guys who step up and make big plays in the postseason. And, it's been a challenge in terms of our success there, and that's where we have to improve.
Are there any answers that you guys have kind of come up with as to what's going on?
We're taking a holistic view of this thing, and we'll continue to look at it. Obviously, being here at the Combine is going to be, a great time to spend some time in terms of looking not only at the young players that are going to be out there, but just spending time, together internally, spending a lot of time talking about, what we have to get accomplished, we think, in order to take the next step.
The last time I made a video on the Dallas Cowboys,
That's
we
interesting.
discussed Dak Prescott. What should they do with Dak Prescott? It's way more complicated than you
Like,
think.
and it's not like Dak is a horrible QB. He's a very solid QB. It's just he can't win the big games when it matters in the playoffs. Like he plays his best in the regular season, but when it comes to the playoffs, he acts like he don't know how to play, bro. every
Is
single
Dak
year.
Prescott good or Dak Prescott bad? If Dak Prescott good, extend Dak Prescott. A lot of this has to
If
do
Dak
more
Prescott
with
good,
Dak Prescott's contract
it's
than
crazy,
Dak
bro.
Prescott, the player. And to be honest, the parallel you could draw for Dak Prescott's career is pretty much Kirk Cousins, with all due respect. He has the ability to fill up the stat sheet and look like one of the most prolific players in the NFL. There are moments where he puts forth masterful performances, and then there are moments that just make you scratch your head. Sometimes he succeeds in big moments, and sometimes he fails. Throughout his career, he's 2-5 in the NFL playoffs. One of those victories came in his rookie season. Another one of those victories came last year against Tom Brady. So here's where it gets pretty interesting. After signing
Which
Dak
was
Prescott
surprising
to a
that they
4-year
got out of the first
extension
round.
during the 2020 offseason, paying him 4 years and $160 million, the
Damn.
Cowboys restructured Dak's contract during each of the previous 3 off seasons so they could get immediate cap space. Pretty much imagine a road and kicking a can further down a road over and over and over again. As a result, entering the offseason, the Cowboys were $8 million over the salary cap, which was the worst cap situation in the league. That's because the Cowboys kicked the can so far down the road that in 2024, Dak Prescott's cap hit is over $59 million.
59 mil?
The salary cap. Dak is set to make $34 million next season, $29 in base salary, and a $5 million roster bonus, which was recently paid out, in addition to some voidable years added onto his contract. Now, if the Cowboys do nothing, Dak Prescott would still return this year, but you would also need to pay up, the biggest single season cap hit ever, and on top of that, you're going to lose a lot of supporting players, which the Cowboys did. This also limits the Cowboys' ability to extend Micah Parsons, which they have to during the 2026 offseason, and CeeDee Lamb, which they need to work on an extension with him by the 2025 offseason. The Cowboys also can't tag Dak Prescott next season, and he becomes a true unrestricted free agent after this next season, very similarly to Kirk Cousins. Now, what the Cowboys did was they restructured his contract by adding voidable years, which means they extended the road in which the Cowboys can kick the can down the road to make the cap hit even worse. And the only way really out of this is to trade Dak Prescott to another team and save $34 million. But Dak has a no trade clause. Now, something else the Cowboys could do is extend Dak Prescott, which would also give them more years to restructure his salary and to kick the can further.
It's
down
smart
the
for him to
road
put the
or
no
allocate
trade
his
clause
cap
in there, though.
accordingly. But a Dak Prescott contract extension could reach $60 million.
I believe that Dak Prescott is going to reset the quarterback market and get in the vicinity of $60 million this offseason.
So this brings us to
Really, you really think that, bro?
Originally,
I want
the
whatever the
assumption
fuck you're
was that
smoking.
The Cowboys were going to extend Dak Prescott no matter what. But
Dak Prescott is not an
obviously
elite
restructured in
quarterback.
2028.
He's good. He's not
There
elite,
are
though.
void years now till 2028. Now, Dak could still become an unrestricted free agent in 2025, and if the salary cap keeps going up, it'll be way easier to stomach Dak Prescott's cap hit. But the thing that's very shocking about this is the Cowboys aren't making win now moves. If you're a team that thinks that they're on the precipice of winning a Super Bowl, typically you'll be aggressive in free agency to try to fill out the remaining parts of your roster. But in the case of the Cowboys, they didn't do anything of the sort.
Because they gotta re-sign hella niggas, bro.
And that's about it. And the fact that there hasn't been an extension up until this point means that the Cowboys might be willing to let Dak Prescott hit the market in 2025. Now, obviously, moving on from Dak Prescott means that there are going to be some rough years for the Cowboys coming soon. Primarily because even if you move on from Dak, you still have the cap hit that Dak gave you. You'll still count for his cap hit next year if he leaves. And this puts the Cowboys in a very, very interesting situation. Essentially, the situation the Cowboys are facing now is Dak could play this final season with the Dallas Cowboys with a much downgraded roster from last year, admittedly so, with some key pieces missing from the defense. We still haven't figured out what Stephon Gilmore's future is going to be. We lost our defensive coordinator. We lost our starting running back. We lost our left tackle. We lost our center. So obviously it's going to be a much more downgraded roster. And based off of that, you could assume that the Cowboys are going to take
tough,
a step
man.
back this year before
I
letting
thought
Dak
we had it
Prescott
rough.
join another team the year
Losing
after,
hella
in
niggas,
which
bro.
the
We
Cowboys
lost
are
Clowney,
$60 million against
Calvin
the salary cap.
Noy,
And as a result,
Ronald
2
Darby,
years from now, you're talking about a team
OBJ.
that could enter Trey Lance starting at the quarterback position, which would solve the cap
lost,
problem for them. And if they perform
Kevin
horribly,
Zeitler,
Trey Lance under center,
Morgan
you're
Mo-
talking
we
about
traded
a team
Morgan
that would
Moses.
be in the market market for a brand new quarterback during the 2026 NFL draft. Is this something they should entertain? It really depends on how your perspective on the Cowboys are currently. Do you think you're a Super Bowl contender with a downgraded roster and Dak Prescott as your starting QB? Well, according to Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys, no, they're not. And to be honest, they're absolutely correct. According to Ian Rappaport, the Dallas Cowboys and quarterback Dak Prescott have a mutual understanding of his contract situation, sources say, with no offers from Dallas despite him being in a contract year. Owner Jerry Jones said, "We are where we are, locked and loaded for this year. There's no indication that a deal is coming," which means that the Dallas Cowboys have no interest in kicking the can further down the road in order to try to make it work with Dak Prescott. It also means he isn't going to be paid as the highest paid quarterback in the NFL this year. With that being said, Ian Rappaport just says straight up that this appears to clear the path for Dak Prescott to test free agency.
Hey, Ian Rappaport wasted no time, bro.
And a man that just genuinely likes Dak Prescott and the person he is and what he's overcome, I think Dak Prescott is very good on a Kirk Cousins-like contract, meaning the 10th highest paid QB in the NFL. I don't think he's good as the highest paid QB in the NFL. I don't think the Cowboys are Super Bowl contenders with a downgraded offense and a downgraded defense and Dak Prescott being paid a significant amount of money. Dak Prescott isn't Patrick Mahomes, and at this point he's proven to me that he can't even get it done, even if you get him a great offense and a great defense. So if that's the case, you should pivot to trying to do everything in your power to manage your assets properly. You need to figure out a way to keep Micah Parsons and CeeDee Lamb under contract for the foreseeable future, or at the minimum, trade CeeDee Lamb or Micah Parsons for a package that's worth CeeDee Lamb or Micah Parsons. Meaning, if the Cowboys,
bro, if they do that, that'll be the dumbest thing Dallas would have ever done, bro. Oh my gosh, bro. If they imagine if they trade CeeDee Lamb and Micah Parsons,
then I guess I would be able to because there's no point in keeping one of the most
they wouldn't be Super Bowl contenders for the next like 30 years, bro.
To head towards a rebuild. And the reason why I'm thinking this is where the Cowboys are heading, it's because whenever you avoid overspending in free agency and you're focusing on the draft to refill your roster, typically you're implying to your roster that you're trending towards a rebuild. The only thing that is potentially going to hold the Cowboys back is the fact that Jerry Jones might not want another rebuild happen because, hate to say it, Jerry Jones might not be able to see this brand new rebuild team. It makes sense that the Cowboys are at least entertaining moving on from Dak Prescott because Mike McCarthy and Dak Prescott are entering the final years of their contracts. The Cowboys made a move that's very atypical for them when they traded a 4th round pick for Trey Lance. Having Trey Lance sit down in a developmental role behind Dak and Cooper Rush and not rushing him to start may have been a ploy by the Dallas Cowboys to make sure there was an insurance policy in the event Dak Prescott walks after this season.
That's smart.
At the end of the day, I think Dak Prescott is one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL. I don't think he's good enough to carry an offense all by himself, kind of how Patrick Mahomes did this past year for the Kansas City Chiefs. I think he's the type of player that can win a Super Bowl if he's paid a reasonable contract for his talent and you surround him with talented pieces on offense and defense. And I definitely think at the very bare minimum, he's a top 6 QB in the NFL. But if Kirk Cousins left the Minnesota Vikings following this past year, despite being in a great situation with Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson, and Justin Jefferson, what makes you think that Dak Prescott won't leave the Dallas Cowboys after this year if he is not paid the contract he wants? I really think either scenario is plausible here. And originally, I felt like the Cowboys were more likely to extend Dak than to move on from Dak. But the fact that they haven't extended Dak yet makes me think that they're at least entertaining another possibility. So let me know in the comment section down below, what do you guys think about all this? What do you think?
Bro, what if the Cowboys draft a QB this year, bro? Oh my gosh, drafting a QB first round for them would be crazy. And then they just damn, what's the cap hit if they cut Dak though this year?
It doesn't look like this team is capable of winning a Super Bowl. You pretty much have the same team as last year, only with a lot of your key players gone. Then I can understand moving away from Dak Prescott and at least getting something for him. Let me know what you guys think about all this in the comment section down below. Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike. I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.
Man, that's crazy. Do y'all think that the Cowboys gonna get rid of Dak, man, or are they gonna resign him? At the look of it right now, I don't think Dak is going to be a Cowboy like in the next couple years, bro. I think that they're probably gonna either go to Trey Lance route or they're gonna draft a QB, bro. That's the route I think they're gonna go. But I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe to the channel. If you're new, turn on post notifications to get notified whenever I drop another banger video. And without further ado, I'm out. Yeah.